we're live.
We're
Good
live.
evening. Yeah, we're live on Facebook and YouTube.
Brilliant.
My first question, not to you, Joe, to everyone: does your relationship get stronger or does it crumble without communication? Now, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. My guest, I did have a bio, but I thought, you know what? I'm not going to tell it. I'm going to let my guest do that for herself. Joe Hepworth, or shall I call you Joanne? Joe?
Joe's fine.
Joe. Joe Hepworth. She is a relationship counsellor. And that's all I'm going to say. So all I'm going to say is welcome, Joe.
Thank you very much, Adam. Thank you for having me. Yes,
welcome. Now, obviously, let's get to know you before we get into the nitty-gritty about communication. Who are you and what do you do?
Okay. Well, you're right. My name's Joe, and I am a relationship counsellor. So I work with couples who are having difficulties in their relationship, and I support them in working through those issues and improving their communication and basically achieving the goals that they want for their relationship, in a nutshell.
There you go.
There you go.
Plain and simple. Now, obviously, first question about that is, what is communication?
So, communication is the way that we speak, the way that we act, the way that we behave. It's the way that we portray what we're thinking, our opinions, our feelings, and our emotions to everybody around us. So we communicate absolutely everywhere. We're communicating now, obviously, but we communicate with what we put on Facebook. We communicate by looking at people. So communication is literally us portraying those messages. And in a relationship, obviously, that's really important.
Yeah, it is. Because obviously, I know during lockdown, some relationships have crumbled and some have got stronger. I've had a mix of both.
Well, you're completely spot on. A lot of relationships have been tested throughout lockdown. It's been really difficult. People's lives were in a set pattern. You never really get into a relationship thinking, I've got to stay with this person for 24 hours a day in one place and never leave the side. Otherwise, I don't think many of us would get into a relationship. So, yeah, there's been a lot of people struggling, understandably. There's been quite a few people that have got stronger from it, specifically with routines. And actually, when they've got their partners in the house, they may have had certain opinions about how they helped them or what they did in the house. And they might have thought, oh, well, they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that. And actually, they've shown them a different side to them, and it's made them stronger. It's given them a new lease of life, if you like. But yeah, of course, there's people that have really struggled with that.
Yeah, I thought, you know what? I know divorce rates have shot through the roof in the last year. I thought it'd be, I'm going to say it bluntly, I thought it'd be murder cases that have been increased more.
I think there has been a few, to be fair. Thankfully, not too many of them. Divorce rates. I don't have the figures for divorce rates. I know that Relate UK, which are the relationship specialists, have done a survey in 2020, September 2020, and they surveyed about 70 relationship support practitioners about their clients and about what they were seeing, and that showed some interesting results. So I'm going to look over here because I did my research on them.
There you go. She's done her homework.
I did my own work. So 78% of practitioners are saying that couples are presenting more with issues around arguments. So that's understandable. You know, they're confined in a space together, they're going to argue more. And 62% of people are saying that the clients that they're seeing are coming specifically with communication problems. So when they present to you, one of the first things I say is, what has brought you here? And these clients are saying communication. We need to improve communication. So it's been reported a lot more with clients in this area of work. Interestingly though, and unfortunately, a lot of people are actually seeing mental health issues rise massively. So 68% have said that their clients are actually presenting with new mental health issues, and 89% of those that already had mental health issues have stated that they've exacerbated because of lockdown. So that's within relationship counselling as well. So it's having a real negative impact.
I know, and that's obviously the same with domestic violence and stuff like that. But obviously, as you say, you're not a professional. You're just clued up on communication, and it's like, what advice would you actually give to that person? Obviously, you've said when they come to you, why are you here? But what's the percentage of people actually couples going away and saying, right, we need to fix this. Get your finger out your ass and let's work on it.
Well, firstly, let me just correct you. I am a professional, Adam. What I'm not is a relationship expert. So you're not gonna come to me and get fixed, in the sense of I'm not gonna tell you what's wrong with your relationship, but I am gonna help you try and figure that out for yourselves and help you communicate better.
Yeah.
You did just that note there. So what percentage of people? I don't have a percentage for you on that one. I know that my clients, you get a mixed bunch with relationship counselling. Ultimately, not everybody's meant to be together, Adam. They're just not. Do you know that's just life. And sometimes actually couples come to me and it's what they need to end the relationship. It's figuring out who they are as individuals and figuring out whether or not they can work together. But a lot of couples do come to me and they work through their issues together. So what I do is I facilitate communication. How many times have you been stuck in an argument with your partner? Same ending every time. You know what she's going to say. You're going to say the same thing. Always ends the same way. And you predict that behaviour every single time. Yeah?
I know the highest percentage of arguments, money.
Money's massive. Yeah.
That's the biggest argument I say, money.
Well, there has been an increase in kids now, funnily enough. Not an increase in making them, an increase in arguments about them. So It seems to have topped the fact. Usually it is financial, but it's arguing about kids, taking care of kids, homeschooling. Who'd have thought it? People are arguing about that.
Don't get me started on that. I can't wait for Monday. Can't wait.
Oh no.
But anyway.
I'm in the same boat. I get it. I feel you.
But if you want my view on it, I actually blame friends for the arguments, because even though, obviously, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I know couples argue whether it's about kids, about money, about they make something big out of something small. And when that couple goes, instead of talking to each other, they go away and talk to their friends, and clearly they're going to get a negative view by the friends to come back, which can use into that relationship argument. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because we all do it. We all go to his friends. We all go to his family. And to be fair, they've got the best intentions. But the thing with friends and family is, A, they're going to be biased because they love you more. They're your friends. They love you more than they necessarily like your partner. Yeah. Their opinions of your partner are entirely based upon what you've said in the past. So if you only go to them and tell them negative things about your partner, then they're going to constantly have that negative impression. But they're going to tell you what you want to hear, or they're going to try and advise you. And it might be the best advice in the world, but it just might not work for you. And yeah, it can exacerbate things. It can make things worse, definitely. It can make things better, but it all depends.
Exactly. Depends what the argument's about, which, yeah. But I know people keep dropping in and out because the numbers do rise, then they drop. But so please comment who you are, or whether you're Joe's friends, whether you're my followers. I really do not know. But anyway, I know Joe's been hounding her friends for this podcast, so yeah.
I can't see any comments anyway. I'm just very aware that when I look at you, it makes me look as if I'm looking it wrong way. So anybody that is watching, I'm not looking in the opposite way. It's just playing with me as this camera.
Yeah. I know it feels like a Friday when it comes to this, but no, it's only Monday. I know, look ahead. But anyway.
I thought it was Tuesday.
So obviously, I want to know is how did you actually become a relationship counsellor?
Oh, very long story. I'll give you the short version.
Go for it.
I never knew what I wanted to be, Adam. Never knew. Struggled throughout. Did so many things. I went to college. I did nail technician. I got signed up to fashion school. Didn't go. Got signed up to photography school. Didn't go. Instead, I chose to get married at the ripe old age of 21 and move halfway across the country with my then husband. And as soon as I did that, I had a massive sort of anxiety attack, if you like. I've never struggled with mental health issues before. And I started struggling with intrusive thoughts. So it near enough ruined my life for a good year or so. And I hate to think what my newly married husband thought at the time, but I certainly wasn't in a good place. And I was very lucky to get medical help straight away. I was very outspoken about it. And I gained control over it fairly quickly. But unfortunately, I had a friend at the time in the UK that was going through the same thing. And to this day, they've still not got the support that they needed. So it set me off on a study journey, if you like. And I did my degree with the Open University in psychology. And then I moved back to the UK and just started picking up courses. So I did my initial counselling course. I did a couple of CPD days on different things and just fell in love with it. But more than anything, my relationship had broken down at this point because of a number of factors. But it was something that was close to my heart, and I got the opportunity to do a relationship counselling course, and I went on it. And I honestly thought I would go on it and I'd hate it. I thought, this is not going to be me. I can't deal with two couples in a room together. They're just going to argue, and I just won't know what to do. And I absolutely loved it. Just loved it.
Yeah.
And I just went from there. I've always worked in a different role. So just before lockdown, I private and opened up my own business, which is it's going well.
Brilliant. So obviously you've got a bright future. You've had struggles like we all have, and all I've got to say is great that you're here.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. And what do you want
to know about communication?
How to get it better, like get it more spoken about, if that makes sense.
Ooh. It's one of the things that I struggle with, and I put a lot of social media posts out there. In fact, I do a lot of blogs on my website, and the majority of them are about communication, because ultimately communication is the starting block for anything. People don't come to counselling early enough. Counselling can be really helpful in a relationship, and we get a lot of people that come as a last resort. It's one of those things like, right, we'll try counselling, and if that doesn't work, that's it. And unfortunately, it just makes my job a lot harder. I would love to get newly married couples in. I think that would be amazing to start them off on the journey with the right tools. I think that would be amazing. But unfortunately, it's not the case. People come to counselling at the very last minute, and it's not, the end. I can still work with that, and I still do work for that. But I would much prefer for the message to be out there that actually people need to work on the communication throughout. It's going to constantly change.
Yeah. Sorry about me just playing around. It's something's going on with this laptop tonight. First, before we actually streamed live, it was on 100%, and now suddenly it's on like 20% already.
Are you just trying to get rid of me?
You what?
Are you just
I
trying
don't
to
want to get rid of you? Hell no.
Okay, well, I've got a question for you then.
Oh, go on.
So there are 4 styles of communication that are sort of widely known. And I want to know if you know what style you are. So there's passive, aggressive, passive-aggressive, and assertive. Do you want me to give you some background into them?
Yeah, go on then. I have an idea what the passive-aggressive is and the aggressive. I have an idea what that is.
All right, well, it's easier if I tell you about it in a relationship style because that's going to be more important to people. So if your partner or if you are passive, you're going to tend
right here as well, so I need to be careful what I say.
I'm sure she'll definitely correct you.
Okay, go
if
on
you get it wrong. So somebody who acts indifferently, goes along with everything that everybody says, not very good at expressing their own needs, and will just take it as it comes. Yeah, so that's a passive communication style. Now, in a relationship, that's going to cause issues because it causes a hidden anger and a hidden frustration, on the part of the person that's being passive, because they're not actually getting the needs met. They're not saying it out loud. They're not getting their emotions understood. But also on the other partner's side, because have you ever been in that situation where you might say, what do you want to watch on TV tonight? You decide. Which takeaway do you want? You decide. Yeah. You get to that point, you just make a decision. So you get that frustration.
That's my partner right there. That is my partner. Especially when she says, what do you want to watch? Or what do you want to, like, if you were going to order takeaway, or what do you want for tea? Like, I'm asking that to her, and she goes, I don't know. You choose. I'm like, what? I hate, no.
But if you choose and get it wrong, does she then make you pay for that and go, I didn't want that?
Yeah. There has been times where I have actually ordered something and she's like, well, that was crap.
Okay, so your partner might be more passive. So aggressive, the other side of it then, is she giving you evil eyes?
Yes.
Okay.
She's laughing at the same time as well, so yeah.
So
you need to hear this.
An aggressive style would be exactly, loads of people know what aggressive is. So it's somebody that speaks a lot louder. They come across. If somebody's aggressive, you will hear it, you will see it, and a lot of the time you'll feel it as well. So it's loud.
Partner's nodding.
Okay, so a couple of other things. Intense eye contact. Do you give her intense eye contact? No. Blaming, intimidating, criticising. These are all aggressive sort of actions. All right. No. I'm not going to tell you what issues an aggressor would have in a relationship because it's quite obvious where those problems would be. Passive aggressive. I'm kind of getting that you might agree with this one a little bit more. And I'm going to say one word, and I think most people will relate to it when I get to that word. So a passive aggressive. So people that appear quite passive on the surface, they'll take it. They're like, yeah, I'm absolutely fine with that. But inside the seething. So with the takeaway instance, it's like, you decide, babe. And you'll say Chinese, and she goes, no. and hates you for it. That's passive aggressive. So it's where they seem to be going along with things, but actually underneath, they might be doing it a little bit differently. Some of the traits, muttering to themselves. So when people walk away and they mutter, that's passive aggressive. Sarcasm. That's the word a lot of people will relate to. Sarcasm. I'm a Yorkshire lass, Adam. I am very, very dry-witted and very sarcastic. So yeah.
So you'll be the same then, passive aggressive?
It's a passive aggressive trait. These individual traits don't necessarily add up to the whole thing. But yeah, sarcasm is very passive aggressive. Because ultimately you're putting somebody down with sarcasm, but you're just not doing it directly, are you?
I know, it's indirectly. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's passive aggressive.
This is why, do you know what? I actually agree with me being passive aggressive, because no teacher at my kid's school will talk to me. Not one. It always has to be the head teacher, because when she rings me or emails me, like it's been times where she's emailed me at like 11 o'clock at night, and she just says it as it is. No care in the world. But I'm the same as well. We just say it as it is, and we don't think about the afterthought. So maybe that's what it is.
You might just be direct. The last one's assertive, so you could be just assertive. Now, assertive supposedly the most effective communication style, because it's a little bit of everything. So you're getting your needs across, but you're also taking on board other people's needs. You say things, but you know when to stop. It's sort of the desired communication style. It's very difficult for people to achieve because we've all got emotions, but
I'm assertive. Yeah, I'm assertive.
Is she agreeing with that? No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I can't believe I'm being ganged up by two women here.
Not ganging up on you. I'm just asking you what style of communication you believe you've got.
You talk a lot, though.
I talk a lot.
Do you let her talk too?
If she starts talking, she doesn't shut up.
Oh dear, Adam. I do. If you go on my website, jhrcounselling.co.uk, there's a booking link, and you can book a free 30-minute consultation if you and your missus want to tip along to that. No, I'm joking. I'm sure you've got a lovely relationship.
Yeah, we have. No, we have. We've had our rocking times, but what relationship hasn't?
Of course.
Yeah, maybe I do need to take you up on that counselling session, because my partner's just said that she keeps getting this glued into her head. I earn the money, she spends it. Doesn't work like that.
Okay. Well, I have to, as I'm not actually counselling you, I'm all right to have an opinion. I've got to stress that I don't advise and I don't have an opinion in a counselling situation, but I'm not counselling you. So, I mean, what's she buying? Is it good stuff? Is it bad stuff?
Bit of both.
What do you get in return, Adam? You've got to ask yourself that. Is it worth what you get back?
What do you mean, you?
You get me.
I get you.
That's valid. Is she worth it?
Please, anyone that's tuned in, please comment. I need help.
I cook, I clean, I look after the kids, I support you. What more do you want?
I don't know if you got any of that.
Yes, I did. She cooks, she cleans, she looks after the kids, she looks after you. What more do you want?
By the way,
go on.
Your voice has just been live on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth Gelpage just put laughing faces.
Oh dear, I do feel like we're ganging up on you a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need to stress this does not happen in a counselling session.
The thing is, though, I have been at these podcasts for a little over a year now, and this is the first time my partner's actually, well, obviously she's come on a podcast before, but this is the first time she's actually got involved when it's just like one-on-one like this. It's first time.
Okay, that's good. All right, let me ask you both then.
Because
since
your
lockdown started, do you think your relationship has got better?
Oh yeah, it's got better. Hell of a lot better, yeah.
Over lockdown.
In what way?
In what way? I would say, even though we've been together a little over 12 years, we feel like in the last year we've actually got to know each other a lot more. I know people would think 12 years and you're just getting to know each other now, but yeah, in fact, yes. Because it's never too late to actually get to know someone.
Because people change. We knew
you've changed all right, love.
We spent a lot of time at the start of a relationship getting to know each other, on phone calls and everything like that. But then, obviously, 12 years later, over lockdown, we've sort of rekindled that.
Yeah, and a lot of people have said the same, to be fair. You get into a routine of life. You get up, you go to work, you've got kids, you come home, and that initial honeymoon period, what people call the honeymoon period, that's the time when endorphins are going mental. You're really putting in that 100% effort because you're sort of peacocking, if you like. You're trying to attract that partner. You're trying to pin them down. And as soon as you've in a committed relationship, you've got to eventually get on with normal life. And for many people, lockdown has shown them parts of the partner that they would have never known until retirement. I mean, the statistics of divorces and separations when people hit retirement are massive because all of a sudden they're stuck in this house together and they get to know each other and they've changed so much across the years and these things. So lockdowns given people a lot of insights into the partners, and they've not necessarily been great, to be fair.
The honeymoon period, I think that's been and gone long ago. We just get described as no married couple now.
Well, 12 years, that would be some feat to try and carry the honeymoon period on that long, to be fair.
The amount of times she's actually said, I wish how I've not killed him, I don't know.
Oh, it's common. It's common. You're clearly getting on there. I mean, she's joined in with you tonight.
There's things that bugged me at the start of the relationship that actually don't bug me now. I just ignore them.
And that's brilliant because that's adapting. You're adapting to each other. You're sort of molding to each other's routines and rhythms. I say you're doing this. You've already done this. You've been together 12 years. But for a lot of people, that honeymoon period, actually, when it stops and they move into a committed longer-term relationship, they start to mourn that honeymoon period. And that's where a lot of people actually lose relationships because they'll search that fire. They'll search that passion. And for me, moving past that is better because then you get that commitment. You get to be able to sit with a partner and not say a word to them and just be absolutely perfectly blissful in their company. And that comes with time. Do you know, the honeymoon period is brilliant, don't get me wrong, but actually it's got to level. You couldn't go like that for, forever. You'd be mentally exhausted and physically exhausted, let's be fair.
I'm exhausted every day.
I think the trick to a long-term relationship is making time for each other.
Oh yeah, and
we make time for each other every week, don't we?
And if people say they ain't got time, what a load of crap. Time's always on your side.
Then for 2 nights every week, that's us time.
Yeah, it's even got to the point because I'm that busy. I have to literally she bought me a diary, and she's always nicking it off me when I'm writing the podcast in. She's always nicking it, saying date night. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And you know, a couple once said to me that they didn't schedule things in because they'd been told that once they had to schedule things in, the relationship was nearly over because it should come naturally. And I thought that was so sad, because it's like, if you've got too much washing up, you buy a dishwasher. You know, you don't just you don't blame yourself as being a failure because all of a sudden it's taking you too long to wash up. You buy a dishwasher. So if these measures are available to you and you're not using them out of fear of failing something, it's sad, because actually the fact that you've scheduled that in, you're recognizing that you've got other commitments, but ultimately you're a commitment to each other, that your partner is a commitment as well. And that's lovely, and I think it's brilliant that people are doing that. And I would certainly recommend during lockdown, even though you might see your partner 24/7, you should still be having that time and having those date nights or those times when you're together, because it is really important.
Yeah. There's no commitment. We're a team.
Yeah, that's good. That's brilliant. Are you married?
No, we're not married.
Oh.
No, we were going to get married this year, but with all what's going on, we have to postpone it.
And we've compromised on that. You want to get married on Friday 13th? Fine.
Okay.
Elizabeth, what's your experience? What kind of communicator are you? And anyone else that's tuned in, it's saying 4 people's tuned in here. So let's get these comments going.
Have you decided?
I bet one of them could be your dad.
Have you decided that you are passive aggressive?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually a bit of both.
Assertive.
Bit of passive aggressive and assertive. That's it.
You see, you've frozen on me.
You there?
You're back. Yeah.
Right. Are we back?
Yeah.
Right. I'd say I'm both passive aggressive and assertive.
I'd say assertive.
I'd say I'm a bit of both.
What's your partner's name? I keep calling her your partner.
Kerry.
Hi, Kerry, in the background.
Hi.
You're not coming on camera?
I'm not well.
You're not well?
I'm not well.
There you go. But yeah. More assertive, though. Definitely assertive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would do in a session, I'd look. So people will come into me and they'll have certain issues. So they may come in and say, well, "Do you know, we can't stop arguing," and it's like an iceberg. So you come into me to see me, and you show me the top of the iceberg, and it's my job to help you explore beneath the surface. So I listen to people, and the thing about relationship counselling and what makes it different to individual counselling. So if I see clients individually, which I also do, the client's very much the lead in the session. So I sit back and I listen, and I will pull on certain things that they say. So, for example, if you said to me, I feel really down today, I've been really down, and when I get up, I feel really down, I would turn around to you and say, Adam, you've said down 3 times now. Tell me a little bit more about that. And it's a bit of a basic example, is that, but what that does is it allows you to rethink that word and actually dig a little deeper and pull on different threads, if you like, that normally you wouldn't necessarily do. You could say something quite flippantly, walk away and never think about it again. And what I do is I will pull on different threads to get your mind working in a different way. In couples counselling, I've got 2 people in the room, So it's a little bit different. Because you can get, if I worked like that, I would get led down one path. So I have to constantly engage both partners, and I'm always aware of what's going on. So you might be talking to me, and I might be watching Kerry, and I will trigger her reactions to what you're saying, and vice versa. And I will pull on those things on certain occasions, and I'll test you. There's different ways of working with couples. So if you were say, for example, you constantly interrupted Kerry, didn't let her talk, wouldn't listen to each other, actually. It was all but, and jumping into each other. I do certain communication activities and things with people where I would flip it round. So I might say to you, what has Kerry just said to you? And usually it's like, well, I don't know. So we flip the conversation, and I get Kerry to tell you something. It may be that what you said to me in the kitchen the other day really hurt my feelings. And then I'll flip the perspective and say to you, I want you to be Kerry in that situation and tell me how you're feeling. Tell me how you're feeling and tell me why you're feeling like that. And really think about where she would have got to that. And it's not about saying she's right. It's about you exploring her understanding of it. And you might not get it right. But in that time, I'm going to ask her not to speak. And then we'll check in at different points. So it's really about facilitating that understanding. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Elizabeth's actually just commented, but if I was still in the relationship or marriage, I highly recommend this book, The 5 Love Languages.
Yes. Yes, the love languages. My next blog.
I'm going to show that comment.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you need to keep an eye on my website, because my next blog is love languages. I've got a list that I'm doing.
I don't need help.
Not you personally, the viewers. Love languages, and I'm going to talk a little bit about army wives and army relationships and army husbands, actually, because I was an army wife for 5 years, and that is a whole different set of challenges to a marriage. So yeah, that's going to be something else that I'm going to be writing about in the near future.
Yeah. So obviously, yeah. That's all I got to say. Because I already feel. What was that?
It stumped you.
It has. It has actually stumped me. I actually do not know what to say. I have never been this speechless. But first. What do we?
Well, your question then: does a relationship get stronger, or does it crumble without communication? I think it's pretty obvious to everybody that without communication, your relationship would be non-existent.
It would crumble. It would be a Titanic.
Yeah, totally it would be. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that are in relationships that don't make them happy, and where communication is really not great. And they've got that used to it. They've got that accustomed to living in a certain way that A, they don't believe that they should be happier, or B, they don't know how to get out of it. And the other one is they believe that the only way out is to leave, and that's not necessarily the case at all. It could be that they do need some support, and that's where I come in, to actually to help them on that journey and exploring whether or not they can do things to make it better. Relationship counselling, I've seen it work wonders. I've got clients at the moment that a couple of weeks ago came into me and just didn't know where to turn. They were like, right, we've come and this is the issue. And what happens is I have a counselling session with both people. Then I have an individual session on their own where they can tell me what it is that they need. And that's completely confidential, so I don't go back and discuss that. And then we come back together as the three. And this couple, really didn't know where they were going. Like they were to the point where they really didn't like each other at all. And 2 sessions ago, when the computer switched on, they were sat on the sofa under a blanket cuddling each other. And I was like, wow. And it was just getting them to talk and getting them to understand each other and listen to each other. And you get into such a habit of communicating with someone, especially when you've been with them for a long time. As I was saying to you at the beginning, you predict what they're going to say, you predict how they're going to act. And a lot of the times, if you predict that, your partner obliges and will actually act that way. And you get into this routine and this habit of communication. Even the best intentioned people, like your family, your friends, can come in and say this is wrong. You still don't listen. And for a relationship counsellor, I'm completely unbiased. So actually, I sit in the room and I give you the time to space. So if you've got a partner that constantly overtalks, I will stop them talking. I will flip the situation around and get them to tell the other person and to really engage with what they're saying. If one person's really not into talking and not into expressing what they're feeling, I work with them in a way that actually allows them that freedom and that time to get out. Not, I don't force them to speak. I don't try and pull anything out that they're not willing to do. But usually, yeah, of course, silence is a brilliant method. When there's tension in a room, especially between two partners, to actually allow your partner the silence to think is difficult for somebody, especially if that person is more aggressive in their communication and they want to get it out now and they want to solve it now. If you've got a passive person, they might need to go away and think about it. They might need to go away for a couple of days and ponder it and then come back and be like, actually. So if you've got aggressive and passive in a room, it's just not going to work. There's going to be times it'll work, especially when they're not arguing. But if there's an issue, then somebody's going to be silenced, and that's where I can support that communication to work.
See, there was a time where our relationship was like a Titanic.
It was.
We had a night away from each other, and then we sat down and we sort of put everything out in the open, and we sort of like, I'm going to say everything I want to say, and then you're going to talk. So we sort of allowed each other that time to talk.
Yeah.
And it really helped.
Yeah, because it even got to the point, obviously, like what Kerry said, she obviously went away for the night, and normally I'm a complete mess when she's not around. I neglect the hell out of myself. But when she came back the next day, I was up. I got myself into a new routine for just me, and that was it. And I've stuck by that routine ever since.
And that's brilliant. And it's great that you recognise that. A lot of couples will do that. It will get to a certain point where they think something's got to give. And usually there's an ultimatum. One partner's going to leave, or one partner's getting to the point of ending the relationship. And that's enough to kickstart the other partner, or to kickstart both of them into making that change. But actually, the ingrained patterns of behaviour, the way that you act, are still there. And actually, they're there in an unconscious level. So you might not know that you're reacting in a certain way or acting in a certain way that are causing these reactions from your partner and causing this tension. And that's where counselling can help, and education can help as well, in realising these things about yourself. So I do quite a lot of work with attachment styles. I don't know if you've ever heard of attachment. So basically, a very famous psychologist called John Bowlby did work with mums and babies a long time ago. I want to say the 60s, but it might be in the 40s. And basically, he says that the way you are brought up as a child, the way that you, from birth and throughout infancy, the way that you're parented very much reflects your behaviour and your opinions in adult life. Now, this is a massive theory, so it's not as simple as what I'm saying, but they suggest 4 different types of behaviour. And if you think of it on a basic level, everything you go through affects what you are like. So your experiences of relationships when you were in school, it's all sort of training for now, for later on, for next year, for your future. All of it adds up, and that's sort of basic. But these attachment styles are really indicative of actually the unconscious behavioural traits that you portray that you might be completely unaware of. And looking into that history. So I will work with clients, if they need it, to look at their history, to look at when they were a child, the different experiences. So their first experience of a relationship. So Adam, what was your first experience of a loving relationship? Not you with somebody else, but what you saw.
Pain and lack of understanding.
Okay. So was this when you were really young?
Yeah, because obviously I was brought up around abuse caused to myself, and I've just never had a relationship, and that's what triggered me to attempt suicide.
So your history, and I've looked at I've watched your videos, so I am aware that you have suffered some horrendous trauma in your life. All of that trauma will have affected the way you are, and especially the way you are in close relationships. So you seem to have gone the opposite way. So there's many directions that somebody can go in, but they can carry on that routine, and they can carry on that behavior and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. So the child that sees their mum or dad physically and mentally abused could go on to physically and mentally abuse their partner, or they could go on to do the opposite and not physically and mentally abuse their partner. They could go to a further extreme and become extremely clingy and overprotective and really needy themselves. So it all, there's lots and lots of different levels. It's not just about the whether or not they abuse, it's the different needs that they require from a loving partner and in order to be a loving partner.
I have noticed, though, a lot of people have said, even though we've all got skeletons in our closet, it doesn't matter who you are. I can be a bad person, a horrible person. I can. I'm admitting that live. But one thing people can never fault me on is me being a father. Because even though I was bullied, and I was allowed to be bullied and beaten for 16 years straight from the age of 3, I wouldn't let anyone bully my kids. I'm currently finding out that my son is being bullied at school. I'm on to the school right now. Well, not right now, but yeah, they don't like it when I get overprotective of my kids. Even my pop Kerry, she doesn't like it either.
And are you overprotective then? Would you class yourself as overprotective then? Have you taken that to the extreme?
When it comes to my kids, yes.
So it's that overcompensation. So you're very aware of what you went through and very aware that actually you don't want to put your children through that. So we overcompensate. We make sure we go out of us way to remedy every little thing so they can never potentially ever get even a slight glimpse of what you went through. And that's completely normal. And in this case, as it stands, it's not harmful. That could become harmful as they got older, depending on how tight those binds are that you place on them. But as long as you're aware of it.
I'm aware from it. I'm definitely aware of it. But obviously, we all make mistakes in our lives, and my kids will be making mistakes when they're older, and they know that. They know when they get older. Like, they're already thinking about the future now. And we've all said, we both said, if it doesn't work, don't matter, because if that door closes, there's always another door that's going to open.
Yeah.
And we jump at every opportunity. And they accept that the word fail means it's only first attempt in learning. They both know that. And I think that's awesome.
Brilliant message for him. Absolutely brilliant. Do you know, they're going to grow up with such a secure base, where the lessons that they're learning are logical, and true. Do you know, they're not harmful messages, and they're not unrealistic messages that you're giving them. They're absolutely brilliant. They're going to send them. They're going to set them up to be great.
Yeah,
so that's really good.
Yeah. Fair enough. They don't show respect, but I don't think kids actually know what respect is. I don't, as young as 9, but I'm at that, like, at the minute, me and Kerry, we're having that little bit of a dispute. Obviously, it's nothing major. It's just a discussion about kids being kids and they don't know respect. But I'm thinking, well, maybe, yes, they are kids and they should be kids, but they should know the boundaries between right and wrong, especially at that age. But that's probably for a further conversation.
When it comes down to parenting, it is personal choice, as long as you're not actually causing any harm or committing any offences. When it comes to bringing up your children, it is personal choice. What can happen where one partner's had a severe experience or an experience that is very overpowering in the way that they bring up their children, the other partner can not be silenced, but overshadowed in certain areas. So actually for you, with the protection side of it and ensuring that they're given the right morals and they're not bullied, a lot of your energy is going into that. When it comes to the respect for adults or necessarily, rules, things that are not as significant as actually their physical care, you're not going to be as alert with them. Whereas if Kerry or whatever partner we're talking about in, the fantasy couple that we're talking about, if they have had a relatively normal childhood, or what we call a normal childhood, then those things are going to be more significant to them. So actually manners and respect and boundaries are going to be high on their agenda, because the fact that care and safety are basic instinct to normal people. They don't have to overthink them. And therefore the rules and the boundaries are higher on their agenda. Whereas for you, actually that basic instinct is massively high on your agenda because you didn't have it, that care and that security. So the other things are probably lower down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what's a normal childhood?
What's a normal childhood?
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to go there, Kerry. Whatever is happening.
That's for a different conversation. Different conversation.
I think for a normal childhood, when we talk about normal, we talk about one that's not got emotional, physical, sexual abuse involved, where a child is nourished and cared for and given education and those sorts of things would be the norm. But obviously normal means so much to somebody else. Absolutely.
And you know what? That's where I'm going to leave it. It is. I think we've gone really in depth with this.
Well, as long as you're happy with it, Adam.
We are.
Good.
And on that note, thanks for coming on, everyone. If there's going to be more comments,
I'm checking out the website.
JHR Counselling, by the way. I need to plug that. My partner was like, make sure you get your website on there. So it's jhrcounselling.co.uk. Or you can find me on Facebook or Instagram or one of the many other social networking platforms.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
I think I've actually put it into the description. I think I have.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, because your bio, I think I've actually put it into that.
I thought you'd lost that.
Yeah, but that was after I put it in the description.
All right. Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah. anyway, thanks for coming on. It's not going to be the end for me because I've actually got a couple more podcasts coming tomorrow. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I'm going to be hell busy. But thanks for coming on, Joe.
Thank you very much for having me. Lovely to meet you, Kerry, even if it's just in voice.
She's gone.
Oh, well.
She's gone.
Served my purpose. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. All right. Right. Thanks for coming on, everyone. And I'm going to end this podcast now. And yeah, see you tomorrow.
Bye.